What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Nigel Sylvester is here with me today. Listen, I know your DMs are going crazy right now.
Oh my God.
I can't even imagine what it must be like to be you, because everybody is talking about this sneaker drop that is about to happen and the story behind it. But what are your DMs like?
Oh, it's the DMs, it's the text messages, it's the emails, it's like whatever form of communication they can find me, people are finding me. It's just a blessing. I'm happy that people are excited. I'm happy that people want to get their hands on the shoe.
Listen, and it means a lot to you. I think that's important, like the story of you developing this Jordan that you have coming out. Let's see, what's the date? July 20th.
July 20th.
Is the date that it comes out. That's
July
soon.
20th, yeah, it's around the corner. We're like a week and a half away.
Man, and you got them to put Bike Air instead of Nike Air. Has Nike ever done anything like that? Changed the word Nike to...
Very rarely.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's the first time they changed the word Nike to
Yeah.
something else. They've put other words like run next to the swoosh. But to change it to something like this is
Should we call
insane.
it Bikey since it rhymes with
No,
Nike?
it's definitely
okay.
Bike.
Okay.
I've heard that though. People are like, "Oh, Bikey Air," I'm like, nah. But it's cool though. It's
yeah.
cool.
So this sneaker that you have, Grandma's Driveway, is
Yeah.
inspired by your grandma's driveway.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is where you first started loving to ride on a bike. And the packaging, I saw you putting it out there, is
Right.
you as like a little 4-year-old looking super
4
cute
years
on your
old.
little tricycle.
Yep. It was super dope, right? So when we got into the lab to do this shoe, it's like I want to tell a very personal story, and it's something I've spoke about in interviews before, but I haven't dove into it in regards to the product creation standpoint of it. So it's like, man, we're gonna tell the story of me falling in love with bicycle riding in my grandma's driveway, and the colors of the shoes inspired by the fence that lines my grandmother's driveway.
Right.
Like you said, the box is it also has some detailing in there. Like the tissue paper is a photo of me on my tricycle at 4 years old.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thought at 4 years old, like it would be what it is now, And then the bottom of the box has the replica print of the actual driveway.
Which is probably where you scraped your knee many a time and your
See what's going
elbows.
on, right?
Right in that
You see
Wait,
the
and can you
shins?
hold this sneaker up so people can see it? Because there's also
No,
a lot
of
of
course.
details.
Of
And
course.
I
This
saw
is
they
off
have
my
it.
foot right here. You know what I mean?
What does that smell? No, you've been wearing those.
Somebody hairs on the floor. I've definitely been wearing these right here. Nah, this is actually a sample pair I've been wearing. But it says Bike Air on the back.
Okay.
It says Bike Air by Jordan on the tongue, which is a huge moment,
Right.
for me, like being a bike rider, doing this all my life, and then signing to Nike at 18 years old, and this many years later, signing to Jordan brand, and then being able to do this shoe.
And you were the
incredible.
first, right? As far as
BMX athletes, yeah.
BMX athlete to get a Jordan deal.
To get a Jordan deal, to do a Jordan. I was the second BMX athlete ever to sign to Nike when I was 18. So I've been there for a long time, and the brand's shown me a lot of love.
And these are low tops too, which is different
It's a low
also.
top. Yeah, it's a low top.
You get them to do anything.
I mean, I've been there long enough, man. Like, let me change some shit up,
But people do love your collabs. Like, I've seen people say that they are top tier, not the easiest to get your hands on.
At all, right? That's why my phone's going so crazy. The DMs are blowing up.
But Lil Yachty had a pair. I saw.
Yeah, he had a special pair. He had a whole different colorway that may not happen. But Yachty hit me like, yo, I need those. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna give him an unreleased colorway, give him the early access to that. So there's more details coming out about that.
What is the process like from when you first get in the lab, like you said, to start developing this? Because I've seen you talking about this, and I've seen pictures being posted since like months ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it's like, come on, let's go. But what is
Right.
that process like for people who are like, all right, why is it taking so long?
Right. So when it comes to designing a shoe with Nike and most shoe brands, it takes at a minimum 18 months. I guess a process.
That
It's
is
a
a
year and a
process.
half, from like.
You could build a house.
Right. it's a thing, but when you first get into the room, it's a bit overwhelming, right? Because you have this blank canvas and you're like, what do I want to do with it? And the options are limitless, right? And they bring all these material samples out, and you have to really go in there and know what you want to do and then narrow it down.
Right.
Right. And fortunate for me on this go around, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Right, it was like, cool, I want to tell this grandma driveway story. Here's a photo of me at 4 years old. Let's pull the colors from this photo. And because it was such an intimate moment for me, extracting those details and putting it on the shoe and on the box and in like the content, it just came like effortlessly.
Was this in Queens?
My grandma's driveway, yes, in Queens. Yeah, Jamaica, Queens, Laurelton to be exact. You know.
I mean, I'm from Brooklyn. I honestly, a lot of my family's from Queens, but I do not know the neighborhoods in Queens. It's one of the most complicated boroughs to me.
People always say that.
Because it's like 163rd Street, 163rd Drive, 163rd Road. I'm like, why do y'all have to do that? Why can't it just... am I right? Is it?
So the last time I was having this conversation, I was in last lap with Lenny, and Lenny was going off about it, bro. And I was like, listen, like Queens is easy because it's numbered, right? Whereas like I feel certain parts of Brooklyn,
Street,
and
Avenue Drive. I'm like,
but it's
just
certain
call
parts
it
of
something
Brooklyn,
else,
right? Where it's just all names, right? Like how you supposed to know where to go, right? Like at least the numbers you can say, cool, like head on if it's like. Head to Street 100 and you're on Street 80, you know to go this way.
Right, but then you end up on the street instead of the drive,
right,
and then you're like, man, now we're in the
Court
whole wrong place. Yeah, exactly. But that's really dope. And for you, another thing that I love about you is that we were talking about this earlier. Financial literacy is about to be required learning in high schools.
Love that.
Which I think in 26 states so far it is.
That.
But that's something that's been important for you. What was your experience? Because you gotten these deals, at a young age, and being in the world of sports, how did you learn what to do with your money, how to negotiate deals?
For sure. Well, early on, I definitely messed some money up, right?
Had some fun doing it, yeah.
Had some fun, you know what I mean? Like, but no, I got to a point where I wisened up. I was like, listen, like I see the long-term vision for myself, for my career, and I want to have a fruitful future, especially when it comes to like my finances. And I put some really good people around me to teach me the value of money and how to spend my money, how to invest my money and things of that nature. And that's always been, it's been important to me since that point in time, right? And then through my foundation, Nigel Sylvester Foundation, which we launched in 2021, beyond wanting to support communities in need through bicycle riding, financial literacy was something that was important to me as well. So we teamed up with Chase and we actually launched a financial literacy program in 5 different high schools in New York City, which is super dope. One of the high schools being Springfield High, which is probably 2 miles away from where I grew up. I used to ride my bike on the stairs and get kicked out of the school for riding my bike. And now we launched this program in conjunction with the school, so it means a lot. But it's very important, and it's dope to know that a financial literacy course is going to be required in high schools, in schools, period, in the United States. That's really dope to know.
What were some of your early lessons that you had to learn? And if you could say it's still relevant today, for kids who are listening.
In regards to finances?
Yeah.
Taxes. Right? Like, to be honest,
go to
bro.
jail.
Yeah, like it's the thing, like they don't teach you that, but it's very, very important, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're getting paid a certain ways. Like,
and they're not taking taxes out, and you got to make sure you pay your taxes.
100%.
And have an LLC so that you can make sure
protected,
that write things off.
Exactly. Learning all those things was super important to me, and coming into the game as a BMX athlete, it wasn't things that the BMX industry taught me, right? It wasn't until I got a proper CPA. It's like, listen, this is what we're going to do here. And I was like, okay, cool, got it. And I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful, because we see all the time, like, athletes or entertainers making all this money, and then later on in their career, like, they messed up when they're in a hole because they weren't paying attention to things of that nature. So it's a very important lesson to learn. All the young kids out there getting money, pay your taxes.
I also think that personality-wise, people really like your personality. And it makes it easier to be like, we want to do things with him, because you've done some great collaborations. Let's talk about some of the brands that you've worked with. Run it down.
Of course. So, of course, like Nike and Jordan, Mercedes-Benz, New Era, Smartwater, Montclair,
Louis
Vuitton, right? Like Fendi, Ramova, like the list is crazy. I also have partnerships with Hyperice and Specialized Bikes. But you see, I think that's a testament to your point, like people gravitating towards me just as a person first and foremost, people respecting my creative vision and my eye and my work ethic.
Right.
Like I literally made something out of nothing, right? Like when I was a kid, people didn't think BMX riding could take you to this point, right? Like
it's like the bad kids that are riding their bikes. Get out of here with your bikes, because there are restrictions on where you can actually do that.
Yeah, of course. Like especially like when I was coming up, right? There weren't many skate parks in New York City, right? There was 3 skate parks. There was one in the Bronx. There was one on 108th and Riverside, and there was one in I always had Barrios, Brooklyn. So that's very far from Jamaica,
really
Queens,
far.
right?
And Barrios is far from everything in Brooklyn. I went to high school there, so
right. So you know how far it is. It's deep, right? So I had to troop, right? So I would ride my bike from Laurelton to Jamaica Station, which is like a 25-minute bike ride, and then take the train to wherever these places are. So it was like an hour and a half like trek just to get to these skate parks and things of that nature.
Skateboarding used to be illegal on the street too.
Really?
Remember that? I feel like you used to not be allowed to ride your skateboard.
I bet. You know what too? Like I feel like people society just didn't know much about it. It just seemed like a real outcast thing to do. So there was all these rules and things against it, where now you see skate parks popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's dope
you
to
see artists getting into it. Because it also used to feel like for skateboarding was like a white people thing too, for the white kids. But it's also access to where can you do it besides, in the street. For some reason, because I feel like there was a period of time growing up, because I grew up in Flatbush, and we used to skateboard outside.
Right.
Even I had a pink skateboard.
There we go.
When I was young, I did. But we used to skateboard outside. I grew up right by Seale, so we had the big parking lot.
Oh, in Mill Basin.
No, in Flatbush.
Oh, in Flatbush. Okay.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Like by Junction over there?
No, it was kind of by Erasmus High School.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Right.
It's by King's Theater right now,
exactly
and so they bought it and they're turning it into something else.
Oh, dope.
But so we used to be able to go there. I was like a little tomboy when I was growing up, but then it turned into something that it was like, oh, white kids skateboard. But we used to do that all the time when we were younger. But then it came back.
Right. And think about it too. Right? I was just having a conversation about this. I just left this this panel with Nike, and we were talking about this. I was like, listen, like from the neighborhood I'm from, right? Like riding bicycles in that capacity, it wasn't common for us, right? We rode bicycles around to get from point A to point B, right? It was a fun thing to do. But at a certain point in time, it was like, cool, everyone got driver's license and cars and did that thing, right? No one was actually still jumping downstairs or trying to grind on handrails. But and like we looked at that as a white boy sport because that's what we seen, right? In the media, on TV, we only seen that, right? And then now it's completely changed, right? Like with the power of the internet, you see like so many more people from different walks of life, bike riding, skateboarding, snowboarding, whatever, these extreme sports, and it's really dope to see. We just didn't have access to it back then.
I mean, snowboarding, even that is something that costs money to be able to do. If you, first of all, you could rent a snowboard, but to even get to the slopes, get a pass, a day pass to be able to get on those slopes, let alone own a snowboard and the gear that
all
you
the
need.
Gear, right? Yeah, it's the thing. And bike riding, I mean, it's relative, right? Like a good bike probably costs you like $1,200.
Yeah.
Right. But then maintaining that bike, it's the thing as well. So.
And plus, stealing bikes is very popular growing up too. It'd be somebody on your block stole your bike, and you're like, you live next door. How you gonna steal my bike? And then you got to steal your bike back, or you're gonna get in trouble and get a beating when you get home. Did you ever get your bike stolen?
Getting your bike stolen, right? Yeah. Nah, no one's taking my bike. I've had my eye on my bike my entire life. I'll go to this. So this is what I'll do, right? I go to the bodega, and I would like kind of walk backwards and looking at my bike to get to like the fridge. I'll grab a drink and walk back forward.
Because you can't leave it outside for 1 second.
Nah, people are on it.
Or let somebody borrow your bike. Did you ever do that?
That's the worst. I've definitely had that. People borrow my bike and take way too long to come back, and I'll be sitting up there nervous, panicking, like, I hope you guys come. I hope you come back on my bike. No, but
when you were younger, because things have changed a lot, did you get stopped or have like bad interactions with the police?
Yeah. It happened. You know what it is, like. Again, it was just people not understanding the bicycle culture. Like they see us riding a park bench and they think we're trying to destroy the bench. Like, no, like we're creating art. So there's been times when in altercations and things of that nature where like cops would bother me or stop me or whatever the case is. But it's just a matter of just pushing through those moments, right? If I had let those moments deter me or stop me from what I believe is like my purpose, then I wouldn't be sitting here with you now. So,
and I saw you did the shop too, and what a interesting range of guests. So can we talk, because that hasn't come out yet?
It hasn't.
It's about to, but Sexy Red is on there.
Sexy Red, Jerry Lorenzo.
Yes, Andre 3000.
3 Saxes on there with the flute. Like literally, he had the flute like on a stand during the episode. It was so cool.
And Jerry Lorenzo's from Fear of God.
Yep, from Fear of God. Yep. Braun was there, of course, and PR and Mav. I've known PR for a very, very long time. Like when he used to work at Nike, like he was one of my reps and whatnot.
That is a long time.
Yeah, as a minute. But no, it was a super dope cast. It was a great opportunity. It was actually the season finale of season 7. So I was fortunate to be part of that episode, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, no, that I can't wait to see that. 'Cause I want to see what that conversation.
Yeah, I want to see it too. I can't wait to see what it looked like.
And then you also have your Go Ride.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. This is such a busy week, so I appreciate you for taking some time
Of course.
to stop by here. So talk about Go Ride.
Right. So Go is my brand. It's pretty much has 3 arms to it: content, merchandise, and then the live event side. So Go Ride is it's my annual bike ride. It's an international bike ride. So we do 15 miles in London, and then we fly and do 15-mile bike ride in New York.
Jet lagged and everything.
But it happens within 24 hours. So when you look at like the time difference, you're able to be in London in the morning and then be in New York in the evening time.
That's amazing.
I'm excited.
I was looking at the, online. You could sign up for it,
Right.
but there's definitely a whole waiver.
Yeah,
like, if something happened, I have nothing to do with that. So
Right.
what are the qualifications? Because, obviously, when you look at the video footage from what it was like last year, it looks amazing
It's fun.
and fun, but it's not. Is it for the casual? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
anyone
I
can
just wanna
pull
make
up.
sure,
You got a
'cause
bike.
I've seen a lot of amazing things happening, and I was like, it can be intimidating for somebody.
It could be, and like that's the beautiful thing about it, right? Where it's like anyone who has a bike can pull up and ride with us, right? And you're liable to be in a pack, and you have a kid doing a bunny hop on your right, you have someone else doing a wheelie on your left, but it's inclusive of everyone. For me, the goal was to just bring bicycle riding to these two bicycle communities, one being in London, one being in New York, and just a cool, interesting, and fun way. So July 13th, which is this Saturday, Go Ride's going down. 6 p.m. We'll be at KIF in New York City, in Soho, and then at 10 a.m. in London at BSTN.
There better not be no delays. I know we've been having weather issues,
Right,
but
that part.
listen, we're going to pray for good weather.
We gonna put our hands to our foreheads and pray for good weather, like for real.
Now, listen, other than your collab with Jordan, what is your second favorite Jordan collab that's been done?
My other Jordan collab. That's my
Other
second
than
favorite.
you. Okay, I want to know, like, what's right behind you?
What's behind me? I mean, there's so many good ones, right? Like you got what Travis been doing, right? He's been killing it for the past few years, right? Lance Mountain did a really dope collaboration with Jordan Brennan and SB. That was super fire. And you got Virgil and Off-White. I mean, like, God bless the dead, but what he did over there was insane, There's a bunch of, even Khaled got some joints.
I asked you for your second. You
I mean,
shout
I
out
gave you a
everybody.
few. I'm shouting everybody out. I got nothing but love, I'm just thinking about the joints that I actually rock and I wear, So yeah, there's a few good ones out there.
Now, you also are having a YouTube show that you're launching, En Route.
It's called En Route. We're
So
filming for it right now.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
Hey, we're En Route. So yeah, talk to me about En Route and what
Right.
that's going to be.
Of course. So like, I feel like for several years now, people have watched me do some incredible things, right? And from video content to different product collaborations to campaigns, etc. And I feel a lot of times in this day and age, like we only see the end result. You only see like the Instagram post where it's like, boom, it's shiny, it's big, it's dope, whatever. I wanted to create a show where I bring people into my life, they can really see what goes into my hustle, into my grind, right? When you think about BMX riding, you think about the things I've been doing, it's like, how is that even possible? So I wanted to create something to answer those questions. So we're launching a show called En Route. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, which is Nigel Sylvester Live. We've been dropping teasers for it, and then like the actual episodes will be out soon.
Right. Okay, good. I'm looking forward to that.
Nah, it's going to be good.
Let me ask you, what was the pandemic like for you?
It was interesting. It gave me a moment to sit down and be still. Like so much of my life is in motion. I'm grinding, I'm riding, I'm traveling, I'm doing all these things. As unfortunate as a time as it was, like people passed away, people got sick, people had to deal with different things. For me personally, it was a moment for me to sit down, be with my friends, be with my family, be with myself.
Right.
I think that's very important. I think nowadays, like, everyone's moving a million miles per hour, and people aren't taking that time to be still. So I had a time to just decompress.
Right.
You
Because I feel like sometimes we may think we're not doing enough.
Right.
Like as much as you're doing, you're always like, oh man, I got to do this. And then there's always opportunities that come your way. And you don't have to take all of them. That's something that you have to learn.
Hell yeah.
Also, because it could be great and you're like, I want to do this, but you don't have to do everything. I always have to be like, look, this opportunity is amazing, but there's always going to be something that's amazing that's going to be coming. And maybe sometimes things aren't right
Of course. And again, I was just talking about this too earlier, where being selective is so important. You know, like as you're building your brand, as you're looking to develop something that's going to be substantial, sometimes you have to say no, and the power of no is important. You know, it should be a tool in your toolbox. I've said no to a lot of things throughout my career. And I say yes to a lot of things as well. Just about being selective and making sure you're doing the things that you're doing with intention and passion.
Because sometimes you say yes and you be like, man, why did I agree?
Right. Why did I agree? Like, you get there
every day.
like, why did I agree to do this? And I've had those too, you know, like, but.
My best friend, Santiago, shout out to her. She told me one day, she was like, listen, this is what you have to start doing. If your automatic response isn't yes to something,
right.
She said, do this for like a few months for yourself. If automatically when someone asks you something and you don't automatically think, yes, I want to do that, then don't do it.
Right. It's a good way to live.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all.
And then people be like, come on.
You're like, But you know what, too, though? Having a really good group of people around you, like a solid circle around you to bounce ideas off of is also important, right? 'Cause there's certain things where I'm like, I'll say no to automatically, and then I'll run it by my inner circle, and you'll get these different perspectives, right? And there's times I'm like, you know what, you're right. Let me go do this. And it actually turned out to be for a good reason or to my benefit. So I think it just comes down to each situation, right? Like sometimes it is a straight up no, and sometimes you need to ask people around you, but it's important to have people you can trust around you.
Absolutely. And it's also nice to give other people opportunities. Right. You know, if you can't do something, it's nice to be able to pass it on to somebody else. Like, 100%. You know who this would be great for?
100%.
And they'll be excited, and it's like kind of connecting those dots for other people.
Right. And that's also something that like is important to me nowadays too, right? Where I'm doing a lot of work behind the camera. So I actually just creative directed a campaign for New Era.
Oh, nice.
Right? And I got to pick the talent and pick the photographer and pick the stylist, and I found fulfillment in that as well. You know,
I love it. It's nice to give people, like, they're excited about it. You're putting money in their pocket. And then the end result, they're deserving of it. And the end result is amazing. And then you can feel like, I didn't have to be the person in front of the camera. Yeah, that's a nice thing.
No, it's dope. I actually, like, again, I enjoyed it, and I want to do more of it, and I will do more of it. And just, like, growing my brand portfolio, right, where I'm able to be in front of the camera and do that as well. But being behind the camera is also something that, like, I'm finding, like, pleasure in nowadays.
All right. Well, that's perfect. Well, listen, I appreciate you. Like I said, I know it's a busy, busy week, you know, the next couple of weeks, because you have your Go Ride happening on Saturday. And then the week after that, you have this drop coming out. And I know everybody is on your heels about it.
They're going
but
crazy.
Where is it going to? It's going to be on the Sneakers app and the Nike app?
It's going to be in the Sneakers app. It's going to be in selected retailers throughout the world, you know, and which is even crazy saying that, right? Like, I got a shoe coming out around the world. But no, like, good luck getting them. Kudos to everyone who does get them. But just know I got more coming in the future. So if you don't get these, you'll get the next one.
How do you feel about the resale market? Because I know it's going to be like triple the price.
I mean, yeah, someone sent me a link to StockX. I think they're up there for like $3,000 right now. Something like that. Already? They ain't even come out yet.
That's wild. What size could they be selling if it didn't? But you know what? People have their little ways to get their hands on it. Because if you know somebody who owns a store that's going to get it, you could reserve your pair.
Things.
You know, I miss my friend who used to own a sneaker store. I'm like, do we still have a...
Can we figure something out? Yeah, no, listen, like, the sneaker game right now is interesting, right? It's booming. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, you know, like, and reselling is part of the game, right? It's part of what it is, right? You can really see, like, how much people actually want the things you're making through the resale market, you know, so. How
do you feel if you give some of your friends, like, I'll hook you up, and then you see they resold it?
Nah, no one's selling anything I give them. I haven't experienced that, and I don't plan to experience that. I don't want to experience that.
Because you have had some friends and family.
I mean, yeah, I got a lot of friends and family, but I hope they know
that people the general public couldn't even get there.
Oh yeah, that part too. Yeah. So like the first bike year release it was super limited.
Yeah.
You know, like.
So you know if somebody done
I
seen
know
it on
exactly,
StockX.
Right. Like
15 out of 50. Who
and I know all the sizes and where they went to, so I'm like, hold on, fam. No, but I think everyone that I'm gifting shoes to, will keep it 100. I'm gonna make sure I get you a pair as well, like once they start shipping out, you know what I mean?
Oh, look, I'm glad we got that on
right.
record.
You feel me? You didn't even have to ask. Like we're gonna make sure they connect over there, and we get the size, and we make sure we keep it all 100.
All right. Well, no, I appreciate that so much. And thank you again for stopping by. You've always been like super cool.
I appreciate it.
And just to see like the way that you've been elevating and also what you do for the community, that's always important to me.
Thank you
to
so
see
much.
people that have great things happening to them, but also pay it forward. So,
Of course.
you know, this
God is good.
home for us all the time.
There we go. Thank you so much.
Nigel, Sylvester, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.